Right, good evening everyone. It has gone 6 o'clock, so we will make a start on today's Cabinet. We are being live streamed, so please be aware that the cameras are on. So we will start off with the evacuation procedure. It is as printed on the agenda, and I think everyone here is familiar with the contents, so I don't propose to go over that. Apologies, Councillor Golby is running late, and Councillor Watkins, who is, as Leader of the Opposition and Observer, has sent his apologies, so we'll take those as read. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest beyond what are already printed within the agenda? Not seeing any. Thank you. Item 4 is the minutes of the meeting of the 9th of March. Is everyone happy that I sign those as a true and accurate record? Okay, thank you. That leads us on to agenda item number 5, which is public consultation. There aren't any members of the public present. So that leads us on to agenda item number 6, which is business continuity planning. Councillor Croft.
Thank you, Leader. I shall be very brief on this and move the report. This is another part of our corporate governance reform agenda, and it's a particularly important one. It's an area we hope we don't have to use, but almost certainly will at some point, which is our approach to business continuity planning and disaster management. And what this proposal does is it gives Director Yardlow and the officers the authority to begin a review of the business's business continuity plans. It takes the approach of plan, do, check and act. We've identified the key services we need to raise plans for in the appendix at the back of the report, and particularly importantly, it aims to introduce a culture of continuous review and continuous preparedness. So there isn't much more to say at that, Leader, and I shall move the report.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Croft, and I will second that from the Chair. Any non-Cabinet member? Councillor Condacor.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm really pleased that Councillor Croft acknowledges this is really important. This is sort of stuff that got put to one side for many years, and we have quite a few structural weaknesses in the council. I mean, the council building itself is built on flood risks plane 3 or whatever you call it. So it's good like we've got an alternative server at the Civic Hall. But over the last couple of years, we have had a few incidents that highlight that things can go wrong, particularly the single point of failure on our internet connection, which seems to go our external connections to the public seem to go to Aviston, where any bit of road work seems to, or redevelopment, seems to dig through our fibre. So I'm really keen that we do this well and we look at all the risks. And we take climate change particularly seriously, considering the problems we've got of this building, my tenants at Cleaver Gardens, and quite a few tenants probably in Bedworth are actually on floodplain. And the one thing that will happen in a place where you need a disaster or emergency response is your council house gets flooded at the same time as some of your residents do. So I'm really pleased this has come forward, and I hope actually someone like myself can be a critical friend to this, to actually ask some of the what-if questions. And I think we do need to think about the internet and cybersecurity particularly, because if we've got 2 identical servers, one here and one in Bedworth, things like viruses get into identical servers identically. So it is really important to take these things seriously. And final thing I just want to say is it's really useful you've got key staff in here, because in the past we've always forgotten that actually councils work on people. And if you lose a particular officer in finance or housing, or even the person who knows how to unlock the building, it can cause total chaos. So actually going through systematically all the people we need to run the service is great. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Condacor. Any officer wish to comment? No, the only thing I have to say is that I think, again, this is a timely piece of work to be done, given that we have just emerged or are emerging from a pandemic and having had to do business continuity myself in my day job, I think the pandemic has stress tested almost to destruction most people's business continuity plans, and it has, in fairness, highlighted some areas that were not previously considered. And it is an opportunity now to do some thinking about the lessons learned from the pandemic and what we can do to improve systems moving forward and how we can safeguard them as well. And I think it will be an interesting piece of work to be done. And I think Tom Shardlow will be great at getting stuck into these issues and doing a friendly, critical friend check as someone who has come in relatively new to the authority, have that critical eye at looking at where we can actually potentially make improvements. And I look forward to the results coming through shortly. Any other Cabinet member wish to speak? No? In which case we'll move to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendations? That is carried. Thank you very much. That moves us on to recommendations from overview and scrutiny panels. There are none. Any other items? I have not been made aware of any other items that need to come forwards, which leaves me to recommend under item 9 the exclusion of the public and press for the reasons stated on the agenda. Does that receive a seconder? Councillor Croft. All those in favour of going into closed session, please show. Okay, that is carried. Thank you.